Hi, I'm Jeff Teeter. Welcome to ComSpark TV. I'm your ComSpark executive guest host for today, and we're coming to you live from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm here with Chris Haas from ACES. Welcome, Chris.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Chris, we're going to just have a dialogue about what's going on in your IT shop today. Chris is the CIO at ACES as well as Vice President of Information Technology.
Correct.
I know there's a lot of focus on compliance standards, and how have the changes in those requirements affected your IT shop's practices?
Well, I think for us, recently we implemented a set of critical infrastructure protection standards within my organization. And for us, the key was really around understanding what the requirements meant, understanding what the standards meant to us as an organization, understanding what help we might need in the way of outside counsel or consulting to help us interpret not only the letter of the law, but also the spirit behind the standards and requirements. And then it meant understanding essentially what we had in our environment that was already available to us to meet those standards in the way of processes, in the way of controls, in the way of software solutions, in the way of appropriate personnel with the right skill sets, the exact number of personnel that we need to support such of an environment, and then understanding the gaps that exist between what we have and what we need, and putting all of that in place, which was a really large endeavor for us. But the key is also understanding that this is a living process for us. And so we need to understand how much data we need to retain, at what frequency, how we can best prepare ourselves for audits that may come down the line, but also understanding that the world around us obviously changes. Technology changes, security requirements change, whether that's physical or cyber, whatever it may be. And so we need to make sure that we govern that process appropriately moving forward. And understanding all of that has been key for us.
Wow, okay, so the cybersecurity aspect of that certainly touches a lot of all the personnel of your organization, not just that of IT. Are there processes around cybersecurity that you need to orient your new employees to as you bring them on board and consider bringing them on board?
Absolutely. We have really stringent physical security and cybersecurity policies and procedures in place, and then systems that govern that activity. And so we make sure that not only new employees, but anyone who transfers to a different role within the organization takes very specialized training, cybersecurity and physical security, for their particular role. And that can be employees of the organization, but it can also be consultants that we may do business with that help support some of our critical infrastructure. It could be a cleaning crew that's responsible for cleaning areas where critical infrastructure resides. So all of that is taken into consideration. And then staff is required to frequently take that training over and over again every single year. And then we modify it, obviously, as standards and requirements change.
Oh, okay, so there's a remediation plan already in place. That's actually one of the questions I was going to ask you about. So thank you for that. Continuous improvement then.
That's right.
How about employee retention? Sure. Is that an issue with cybersecurity? And
absolutely, it's always an issue with any technical staff. We want to make sure that when we've invested as much as we have in our employees, that they know a couple different things. That they know we value what they contribute to the organization, but we also value where they're headed in their own careers. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we understand that ACES may not be the end game for everyone, but we want to make sure that we provide opportunities for growth internally, that we operate under a family type environment, high collaboration amongst different groups within the organization, effective communication internally, as well as a service providing company. We obviously need to make sure we provide excellent customer service. And so when we get the people who internally who can do those types of things and are excellent at the things that we need them to be excellent at, we want to make sure that we're obviously retaining them. And so we make sure we meet with them every single quarter individually to assess quite a few different things. One of the things we talk about is obviously their performance. Are they really knocking something out of the park, and they need to be recognized for that? And if so, we do that. Is there something they need to tweak, in their performance in order to go from the state they're at to something even better? We talk about those things as well. From a leadership perspective, or a supervisor, manager, director, whatever it may be, we ask the employees to comment on us in the same manner. Is there something we're doing for you that you really appreciate, that you want us to keep doing? Is there something that you wish we would do or that we would tweak in order to make your career better at ACES? And so we talk about those things. We talk about goals, both personal and strategic, and how they mesh for the corporation's better interest. But finally, we talk about career growth. Where do you want to be in 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? And how do we get you there? I communicate to everyone who steps foot in our department as a new employee or as a transfer, that we want you to be more marketable the day you leave our organization than the day you started. And if we're not helping you do that, we're not really doing our job. And we don't want to see you go, obviously.
Right.
We want to try and retain talented people, but sometimes people move on, and we want to make sure we've done everything we can to help them grow within our facility.
So just one final question about personnel, and then we'll move on.
Sure.
I mentioned to our audience that we're coming from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Correct.
This has been and the governor's even said it, that it's a state where we worry about brain drain and
Right.
attracting people in the technology fields around information technology. Other organizations such as yourselves, IT organizations, we find that they have a tough time attracting and recruiting people.
Correct.
So it sounds like you have good retention policies to share with them, but how are you finding resource?
Well, it's not easy,
Okay.
as the governor said.
Yeah.
So I would definitely agree. But if you really want to be honest about it, it's never really been easy.
Okay, fair, yeah.
Attracting technical talent is one thing, but I'm interested in a couple different things outside of attracting just technical talent. We want to make sure that somebody is a great cultural fit for our organization. And in order to do that, we assess various different things. We want to make sure they're great communicators. We want to make sure that they want to be challenged and that they want to grow. We want to make sure that obviously they provide excellent customer service in whatever role they take within our organization. We're a service providing company. We're all about our technology and our people. That's all we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to make sure that for our customers that we provide services to, they're getting the very best service possible. And so for us, it's just not about finding technical talent. It's about finding the right cultural fit. And we'll make sure that we're very patient in doing so. And if a technical resource drops in our lap that is perfect for the organization, we'll obviously take that resource. If a technical resource is an excellent technical resource, but probably not a great cultural fit for our organization, we'll be patient and wait for the next one to come along.
Okay, very good. Something that's changing the landscape as far as staffing and bringing on new workloads or changing workloads is the as a service model.
Correct.
Some people refer to it as cloud, others refer to it as a service.
Right.
How is that affecting your shop?
Well, I think for us, we're always going to be cost conscious. We're always going to be looking for ways to be more effective in what we do, more efficient in what we do. And obviously cloud offerings or service offerings, provide benefit. So for us, our primary benefit is as outsourcing some of our cloud applications from a platform perspective.
Okay.
But we're also looking very heavily in disaster recovery as a service as well. We're a 24/7 by 365 a day shop.
Mm-hmm.
And so we always have to be open. We trade electric power, and it's an on-demand commodity. It's not like trading corn or something like that where you can store, or at least not reliably store it at this point in time. And so we need to make sure, obviously, that our systems are highly redundant, always up and operational. And so disaster recovery as a service is something we're looking into, as opposed to having many different redundant data centers
Right.
across the country.
Okay. Hey, Chris, let's call that a wrap for today.
All right.
I'd like to thank Chris for being our guest here on ComSpark TV today For more information, please visit comspark.tech.